Let me see if I have. I think there's no one there in the waiting room. Well,
Just let
welcome everybody to this open Zoom meeting. Nice to see you all, Harvey, Adar, Tony, Gio, Patricia, Logan again. Logan, good to see you there. Tony, Garrett, Rosa. So welcome. Yeah, I would say this is it. As far as it seems, sitting in a Zoom, wondering what's next, maybe or maybe not. I don't know. Anything can happen. So yeah, we talked about guilt. So in the Roses meeting on Sunday, and the thought or the belief I am guilty because of this or that, and the belief that to be true may just simply innocently start playing, Um, the thought I am guilty because I've done this in the past, may just simply happen. And the belief that to be actual, that there is a solid you in time and space, being guilty of some deed is just unavoidable. And there's no you as a separated doer of the thought, telling that there's a you who has done something and that's why, and that is guilty. I mean, it's all innocent. Um, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with, those things are, I would say, unavoidable, but at the same time, trying to avoid feeling guilty is as innocent as the sense or the belief or the thought that there is a you as a separated doer being guilty or not. It's already just simply what seems to be happening. And we talked a little bit about this. Gio brought this up in Rosa's meeting on Sunday. I don't know, Giovanni, you want to say something because you said there can be guilt sometimes, and yeah, like I said, it's these things can happen. Feeling guilty, trying to feel not guilty, wondering where guilt is coming from, wondering if it's real. It's all just like innocently dancing without the separated you doing it, and at the same time thinking you are doing it, or thinking there's a you able to stop it, and even the trying is as innocent and spontaneously as the sense or the belief or the thought of guilt already. Geo,
yes, yes. First of all, I just let me know if the sound is better now.
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I made some adjustments in the sound configuration. I think it is better. Yeah, well, guilt is just an example, right? You can have guilt, you can have resentment, you can have fear, you can even have pride, which is considered sometimes a positive sentiment. All sorts of these sentiments have the same source, the history, the belief, the sense that the story of me is real. And so we sort of go to the past and believe, as you said, Sander, that we believe that there is a, a solid, ongoing, fixed entity that can do or not do something, that can feel or not feel something. It's all part of a story.
Yeah.
Because when we arrive, or when we, I don't know how to say, in this moment, timeless moment, there is no place for a separation. There is no place for someone, uh, for something to be separate and fixed that we call a me, that could have sentiments. That's the way I feel about it.
Yes. And but when you said, source as a past, I mean, that's just another, there is no. We talked about time. remember, Giovanni. I mean, time is not like, you know, there's no actual past more than, you know, um, in a way, it's just another story that the past
Just another story.
is the
Yes.
source. There's something separated from now, which is a past, which is completely separated from this, and in that something happened, and that is why I now suffer. It's part of the so-called innocent storyline, which is unavoidable and which is just simply playing on its own, as far as it seems, because even that is just another certain type of storytelling, that the storyline is playing on its own. I mean, there's no, it may almost sound like there is an actual knowing of what is going on.
That's correct. Yes.
So anyone, I mean, yeah, it's the same what you said with resentment. You know, any of those things, you know, may happen or not. Resentment or self remorse or self hate. These things
It's
may just simply arise or not. You know,
it's really interesting because you are right. The moment that I say that the source is the past, even if I say that there is no past, I'm trying to find the reason. I'm trying to find the source. I'm trying to find a knowing something which is already, you know, it's already an illusion because there is no such thing. And again, it can, yes, as you say, it can arise freely. There is no separation. There is no judgment, no critique, no way. It's everything is the sun, everything is gold, or not, doesn't matter.
Tony, I see a need there to respond. Tony Daniels, is there, you know, is the tongue?
No, I'm just wondering if you, Giovanni, if you feel this guilt, then how can you at the same time say there is no judgment?
Well, the problem of the issue is that I don't feel this guilt right now. So I would have to go back and try to find an instance when I was feeling guilty, right? And it is
But
obvious.
when you do feel the guilt, you are by definition making a judgment about yourself, because
Exactly.
otherwise you wouldn't say I'm feeling guilt. Just making that statement, I'm feel, or you don't have to make a statement, but just feeling that you're guilty is already self-judgmental, isn't it?
Yes, and not only judgmental, it is self. It is already fragmentation, separation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In a way, you know, but even you know, self guilt or self remorse or whatever is not separated in the sense from something else. I mean, the so-called moment is not separated from something else.
Yeah, but I find it very, how to say, strange that you say such a thing and at the same time you may feel guilty. I find it impossible.
Well,
If
but
there
that's
is no
okay.
separation, if there is no separation, as you say, how could you feel guilty?
Well, in other words, that statement is about not being separate is not
Exactly.
valid. It's not valid. If you have that feeling of guilt, you cannot make that statement that there is nothing separate, because that then
Yeah.
is just a concept or a belief, something
Yes,
you've picked up from non-duality stuff, right? So, you know, you have to be careful about those statements. If it's just an affirmation of something that you believe to be true, you know what I mean?
I
Well,
know
I
what you
I've got
just
to
mean.
let
I just heard
I've got to
I
let the
just heard Tony, you're muted. I just heard you saying you have got to be careful of what you're saying
I
Um,
knew you'd say that.
That's
yeah,
again the
I have
same.
to. Sweetheart, I have to. No, no, no. You just blah, blah, whatever is coming out, that's it. Boom.
Well,
Yes,
look,
okay, sorry, Rosa, you didn't finish your point. What was your point?
No point. Just there is no
What
need
why
to
are
be
you talking
careful in
then?
what there is no need to be careful in what you are saying or not.
Well, if the need is there to be careful, then that's what's happening.
well, that's obvious. It's always just simply, of course. So,
There is no need. I mean, that again is a judgmental statement. There is
Yeah,
no
why not?
need, or
Yeah,
there
why
is a
not?
need.
but
Why
Yeah,
not?
okay. Yeah, yeah. No, no,
So
why not?
we're
No,
talking
there's nothing wrong with it.
so we're talking about non-judgmental statements or what?
No, what I'm saying is if you feel guilt, then you are making a judgmental statement about yourself. If you feel it, all right, and then if you say, well, there is no separation, that's just a statement that doesn't validate the feeling of guilt.
well, but there's no one doing that already. There's no
Yeah,
one
but
doing
that's
this.
just a statement. No, that's just a statement that there is no one doing it. If Giovanni feels guilt, he's not going to say there is no one doing it. Why would he say that?
Well,
Why not?
Well, I don't know. Let's ask him. Would you say that?
I mean the thought. Let's say so. The thought that there is guilt, and the labeling a certain feeling to be the feeling of guilt is just innocently happening, as there's no one separated doing the thought I am guilty or
Well,
doing
of
the
course,
thought I exist in
everything
time
without
and space.
exception is happening spontaneously. Everything
Exactly.
is happening. Yes. Okay,
So,
but that's not really the point, though, is it? It's
uh,
how he feels about feeling guilt.
yeah, but that's
It's
of
important
course.
enough. It's important enough for him to say that guilt is being felt. It's important
Yes,
enough to say it, right?
but Tony, what they are doing to us right now is trying to fish us fish us out from this ongoing belief that something is important, that we have a point,
Well, I'm
right?
not.
Well, I mean that
Do we have a point? Then they will
There
say,
is,
well,
if a point is
having a
made, then
point is
there.
all right, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
but
of
if there is a
course.
point, if there is a point to be made, then there is a point.
then there is a point.
Well, but this is not about if it's this, like we said before, one can
It's
only
not about.
no, like I said, whatever here. So if that is happening, so to say, for Giovanni, then that's just simply what seems to be happening. One can only express what seems to be happening for himself, so to say. So if the
Isn't that just indifference? Having a mental attitude of saying, well, this is happening, but I'm not going to be concerned about it. It's just happening. That's also indifference, isn't it? Which is a kind of mental
Oh yeah,
mood,
but
isn't it?
it can be heard. But if that is experiential, so it's heard as it heard. If it's heard as indifference, then it's simply just heard as indifference. So the claiming that to be indifference or not, or the claiming that to be a type of uh, how you call it, what I want to say, like bypassing or whatever, then it's just simply, all those things may arise. So, there may be an idea, a thought, a claim to arise. Well, Sander, it sounds to me that it's indifference. Well, that's it. Here there's no arguing. If it sounds like indifference, or if it sounds like bullshit, or if it sounds like anything or nothing, that is just simply already what is. Here there's no issue with whatever how it sounds. If it sounds like that, I'm totally fine. That is just innocently happening. Calling this.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not talking about how you feel about it. It was just how Giovanni was feeling about it, because he was talking about the feeling of guilt.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you transfer his experience to your experience and say, well, you know, I'm not feeling that, or I'm feeling something
No,
else, that's okay. But I was
exactly.
just interested in Giovanni's what we call analysis of guilt, of a feeling of guilt. When you, if you have that feeling, then it's a very real feeling, isn't it? I mean, it's something that is felt. It's very real. Otherwise, you know, you wouldn't express it in the first place, right? But if you then follow that by a statement saying, well, there is nobody separate feeling that, well, I don't. I mean, does that
Well,
really follow? If
wait, Tony.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Mm.
I'm not saying that the feeling doesn't may seem to feel real. I'm not denying the feeling of guilt or anything. I'm only
Right.
saying the feeling of guilt is not done by a separated someone, nor is it happening for a separate someone as an observer. That's all. So
Yes, well, I would agree with that. Yes, I agree with
I'm
that.
not denying that, you know, that the feeling of guilt may feel, you know, like a real thing. How does real feel? Here, it's hard to say how does real feel? How does unreal?
Yes, but Sander, just one problem here. When you say that you are just making a point that there is not a me separate, then I will say, well, but that's just what's happening. If
Well,
there is the sense of a me
of course,
arising as if it was separate, that's what's happening.
of course, there's absolutely here,
You
there's
cannot make a point of that. Right.
no, but if there is a sense of separation, if there is a sense or belief or thought or an idea that I have a separated life, that there is something like me in time and space, um, negating time and space, in time and space, and I have a separated life, then it's just simply that, yes.
Yeah, okay, but there's a follow-up to that, isn't there? Because if Giovanni says, okay, I'm feeling guilt,
Mhm.
and you know, I bet him $100 that that feeling of guilt is undesirable. He doesn't want to have that feeling of guilt. And then if
Right.
you follow it up by saying, well, okay, but there is no separate self who's feeling that,
It's not
you've still
helpful.
got the you've still got the follow-up from that, which is, well, how the hell do I get rid of this guilt because I don't want it? That's still going to enter into the
Yes,
equation, isn't it?
of course, but this, like I told in former meetings also, you know, this is not about help. I completely understand, as far as understanding goes, that saying there's no separated you is not going to take away the guilt. So
Right.
this whole meeting is not, you know, there's no intent to help people, you know, to get rid of suffering or you know, or problems.
Mm.
There's just simply
Right.
I'm sure
pointing.
the thought has crossed Giovanni's mind, though, right?
Well, maybe, but the point is just to simply point to the directness of whatever seems to be happening, including the sense of me, the lack of the sense of me, or whatever the temporary sense of me, guilt. It's all, you know, innocently. But that's I can only speak from here. This is not
Of
even
course, yeah.
saying that that is the truth, or that it should be in that way and that's the only way. No. So there's totally no disagreement in that sense with any of the characters. If there's an expression, well, I feel separate, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
If there's
interesting,
a need
Sander,
for help,
because
there's
when
it.
you,
Yeah.
it's interesting because when you say, oh, about, this isn't about help or getting rid of it, I understand you saying that, but nevertheless, that's a thought that is continually running through the minds of so-called human beings. So you can't discount it.
Oh no, of
Hader.
course not. No.
Hader?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I was thinking about that if you get a mosquito bite and it's itchy, and you have the thought saying, it's itchy, I don't like it, let's go try to find something, to put on. It's the same process as a guilt feeling arising. and wanting to kind of get rid of it, the same as mosquito bite. So
Yeah.
I think it's the same mechanism. The system likes to have more kind of comfort than discomfort. So if you have this guilt feeling, it's a part of the system, and they will arise. There are conditions for in different concepts, and when they will arise, so it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, so
So
that's absolutely right, Hado. But and when Sander then says, "Well, there's no separate self experiencing that," does that make you immediately feel better?
So no. I don't think you mean that there's no it means that it's a part of the system. There's no something separate as entities, you know, living there and saying, this is extra, you know, I don't want that. All this conversation saying, I don't feel comfortable with that. I want to do something. It feels, you know, it doesn't feel good. It's the same process. It's the same thing as the pain. I mean, they're all one system.
And can it happen that when there's a mosquito bite, that there is a letting be of the mosquito bite instead of, you know, doing something? So innocently, the letting go, you know, the not doing anything about the mosquito bite, or the running to the doctor, or you know, anything in that sense, you know.
So I was just thinking, yeah, I was just thinking, Sandra, if you lived in Thailand, you might have a different opinion about mosquitoes.
Well, I mean, I live in Sweden. In Sweden, to be honest, if anyone knows something about Sweden, I work in a forest. Sometimes I get over 100 or 200 mosquitoes bite daily. So obviously,
you haven't? I
yes,
thought it was too cold for the poor little buggers. But
oh, well, not
okay.
in the summer, it's 25 plus degrees. So this system seemed to have adjusted innocently to the mosquito bites. There's no one inside this system functioning, doing the adjusting. It's just innocently happening. As is the I want to making a big story out of a mosquito bite, running to the doctor or not. It's all innocently happening in the sense that there's no one separated making any story out of it. At the same time, making a story out of it, making it
You just have to swat them.
may happen. I mean, this is free to be whatever it seems to be in that sense.
I am thinking about another concept, conflict. Conflict. Right?
Our
Because
old friend,
here we are talking to each other, and if there is the slightest sense of conflict, then we say, no, that's not right. I want something better. But that is also part of the system, right?
Well,
it is really interesting.
It's naturally. I mean, it's as natural as when there is a sense of separation, when there is a sense of me and my life, probably what is seen is all types of people being doers, having control over their life or not. So when there is a strong sense of separation, me and my life, whatever is seen is that there are other people having a life, able to take care of it, and the sense of control. If that is not the case, then it's just simply this. So,
but you're still going to be motivated to do something about it.
oh yes,
in
but
in Thailand, we have these things that look like tennis rackets, but it's got this electric grid on it, and then you press this button and you zap them. Do you know those? Yeah.
Yeah, here we have. I have
you
a
got
few
those
here.
too, have you? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But this is, Tony, this is not about, you know, anything can be done. Killing all mosquitoes you can find in the area may happen or not. I mean, this is free to, I mean, of course, this is not about sitting somewhere and giving up life. This is just pointing to the directness that there's already no you as a separated someone having a life. That's just simply life, or this, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
There's just doing. I mean, doing or non-doing. You're done. You're done. I would say. You're done. Sorry, Hadar.
So it can be a very strong, so I don't know if to call it strong sense of separation, but it can be that the identity become the idea. So this is why there is certain places very strong conflicts, because the idea of something that should be right or wrong become the identity. So of course you're going to have to, if this self identity is about an idea, you have to also, it's like a surviving, you have to fight for your life for this idea as identity. So can be a very strong conflict, because now you have the idea become you, so you have to fight it. And when this is kind of like drop, that you are not the ideas, you're not the there is anything special is calling you, or there's nothing to fight for. So it's just like whatever comes up,
Including fighting for something.
yeah.
Fighting for something may happen. This doesn't need a separated you, to fight.
The motivation, the system is not gonna need to survive itself, because when you are very in strong identification about anything, any idea, any so it's like almost like the system would like to fight for their existence. So there is going to be very strong acts that would be made as identity. But when the system drops, so everything is possible, everything is can happen, but there's no this intenseness of to prove or to do, or it's much more light. Everything is much more light and less energy, of course.
Right.
Yeah, but by saying there is no separate self, I mean, you mean self, like small self, personality. That doesn't mean to say there isn't one.
Well, we talked about this, Tony.
There isn't.
There is just, we can also say there's just this, but we can also say there's just the self. There's no separated self doing.
Yeah, no, Giovanni, there is a personality, there is an individual,
Yes.
but there is also the impersonal. And here they live together very happily together without conflict.
So, but I must say something here. When you say that there is the character, the personality, I agree totally. What is a character? What is the personality? It's a tendency to like something cold or something warm or salty or more sweet things, or these are part of our character. But you cannot say that there is an entity having this feeling, this tendencies.
Exactly.
There is no such entity.
Yeah, of course, I would never say that. But my answer to that would be, so what? Who cares?
So that you cannot say that there is a person.
Yeah, but I would never even. But I would never have that kind of self-referential thinking. I would say to you, this is my opinion. This is what I think. This is what I'm going to do. And all of those statements come out without me ever thinking to myself, oh, there's no separate entity saying that, is there?
Tony. Of course. This is natural. Yes. This for everyone like that, Tony. Of course.
But Giovanni is only saying this because it comes from self-reflective thinking about what is this personality. There is this manifestation or expression of character, personality, and then with it, of course, you have all your habits, your preferences, the kind of movies you like, the kind of food you like to eat, all of that. And at the same time, you're saying there isn't an actual entity. Well, that's absolutely true.
Exactly.
Just as I often say, is when you're walking in the forest, you never see something called a forest. You just see one tree and then another tree and then another tree, and you say this is the forest. But yeah, but okay, you can live with that.
So what we are saying, that there's no one owning a personality. There's no separated solid entity owning a personality. There's just personality, display.
Yes.
There's no one owning that display. There's no one behind the personality able to keep it in check. You know, needs and wants and likes and dislikes are in that sense dancing freely as a personality, we can say. But there's no one,
Right.
a fixed identity having that personality as a fixed, separated, solid identity owning that personality. There's just,
Yeah, well,
I totally agree. There's
yeah, and what I've been wondering is that the personality known as Rosa seems to be very quiet tonight. That was what I was wondering.
well, the funny thing is,
Sweetheart, Tony. Yeah, I'm just chilling here and listening.
Good, great.
And I'm just wondering here, I want to share. I'm wondering, what the fuck are you talking about?
Just this.
well,
That's all.
it's funny, Tony. We talked about this the other day, you and me. So when there is activity, whatever, walking, talking, whatever seems to be happening, there's no additional loop. I'm walking, I'm talking. There's
Of course not.
of course, this is for any so-called person, this is
That,
the same. You know, it's just happening. There's just full on what is. There's no addition. I'm not, you know, step by step. I'm walking now. I'm not. I'm talking now. So to say. But when there is asked, you know, what have you done? Then so to say, there's language in the shape. Well, I has been walking. You know, but even that is just an innocent report. It's not an, you know, the I in a way, that which is not solid is added as if it is a separate doer of the activity.
But
and it is an afterthought.
We seem to be talking a lot about the fact that stuff is just happening. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of words
That's
for
the
just,
only-
that's a lot
of
of
course, that's
words,
the
a lot
only
of
thing.
discussion for just, this is what's happening, right?
But that includes all the words also.
Of course, that's
Yeah, well,
I mean,
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. I mean,
It's the
it's
joy
just
of
interesting,
sharing.
isn't it, that we can speak so much about the fact that what is happening is what is happening, which is what is happening. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, it goes on, doesn't it? It goes on and on.
Yeah. Why are you
But
protesting?
no, I'm not protesting. I'm observing. I'm observing, Giovanni, observing.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, okay, but that's a good conversation to have, an interesting conversation to have. But underlying it, there are apparent individuals who are underneath that are asking themselves questions about, well, what might be happening is just happening and it's all spontaneous, but I don't necessarily want this to be so. That's the underlying feeling that human beings have. And it seems to me that to not address that is entirely missing the point.
Oh, but
But we are entirely addressing it because choices happen, preferences happen, doings happen, but I am not there.
They're not there.
No, I am
How
not
come?
there
How come
because
they're
I
not
am
there?
the totality. I am
Oh,
not a
that's just an
separate.
idea. That's just a statement. I'm the totality. I'm Tony. You're the totality. I mean, I don't know.
Is it
what
just
kind of
a
a statement
statement?
is that? I'm the totality. Where does
How
that come
can you
from?
not be? How
You're
can you not be
Giovanni.
the totality?
You're
Okay,
Giovanni
Tony,
in
just
Brazil.
okay. Let me just ask you something. When you look at the tree, or when you look at your hands, or when you look at the table, is that object separate from what you are? Is it possible for an object to be separate from a subject?
The answer is yes and no.
I don't see how can yes fit
I
in
can.
the
I
funny
can see
thing-
how it can be yes and no.
Where is the frontier between an object and the subject? There is none.
What does that matter? If you're able to intellectually make a distinction between the tree and the house, you've done it already. You've done it. You've made that distinction. You said, this is the tree, this is the house. So if you've already done it, if you've already made the distinction, then why do you go back and question it?
Well,
No, but I am talking about the distinction between any object and the supposed subject.
well, the
Gio,
fact
I just make the distinction, and that's the end of it. The end of story. Tree, house, finish. That's it.
Well,
Simple.
tree, house, dogs, rocks, perfect. I can see the distinction. I can
Maybe
even
that's it.
see. I
God,
can even see.
There's nothing
I
more for me
can
to
even
say about
see.
that.
come in, Hadar. Say. Hadar wants.
Yeah, Hada.
thank God there is a distance. If not, I could not drink my coffee, my tea now. You know, it will be like that.
So I would
English
say
tea. English tea.
I would say when it comes to separation, so the idea or the thought or the belief that there's a you sitting in a certain position and the couch is somewhere else, and all that, you know, saying there's something between me and the couch is already in itself not separation. There's not, it's already not separated. So claiming something
Yeah.
to be separated, there's no actual feeling of separated objects more than the idea that there is separation. I mean, there's no actual feeling of being separated from the wall. Nor
When
is
I
there-
drink my tea, I don't feel separated from my tea. I just
No,
it's just coming,
no one
drinking.
feels separated from life. No one feels separated from this. There's just an idea going on. A thought is saying that you have some positioning time in space, which is your body and other objects,
Okay.
but there is no
Making a
actual,
distinction.
well, there's no actual sense of separation between you
Making a
and the,
distinction does not mean separation. Making a distinction between
Yes.
two objects does not mean separation.
of course,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Otherwise, you would go crazy, right? Of
yes,
course.
so
Yeah, but Giovanni, the kinds of things you're talking about is a kind of analysis about your experience. But when you're having the actual experience in the moment, you're not thinking this stuff.
there's
You're
no
just
no
thinking,
Because,
acting.
but this is the moment. This is the moment. I am talking about this moment. I refuse to talk about those moments. I'm talking about this moment.
Yeah, so am
There
I.
is no separation.
But there is, because you're not in the moment. You see, because as soon as you start reflectively thinking about the moment, it's already gone. It's in the past. It's already a memory. You're not
No,
in
because
the moment.
no,
It's
because those
impossible to
thoughts,
talk about the moment.
yes, to talk about is impossible. You can talk about,
Yeah.
but it means nothing. It
So
doesn't
it doesn't
point to
matter.
anything.
So So it doesn't matter whether what you're talking about has just happened
Yeah.
1 second ago or 1 week ago or 1
Yeah.
year ago, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
it's all the same, really, isn't it? But
Exactly.
the analysis about separation, non-separation is
That's philosophy.
is not
We are
some
not.
it's not some it's not
well,
something that
wait, you
happens in
guys,
normal life. Yeah.
you guys, we have Harvey here. I've met him. He's a teacher in philosophy. Harvey,
Oh,
do you want
wow.
to say something about separation from a philosophical point of view?
Well, this has been, I debate this in class. You know, we could talk about separation and what pragmatically seems to appear like separation. And then we could talk quantum theory, in which there is no separation because it's all the quantum field. But so on an intellectual basis, sure, we go back and forth on that. There appears to be separation. Ultimately, there may not be. But one thing I would kind of think is whatever is appearing, that's whatever is immediately appearing, that's it.
Yes.
That's it. It's like full stop. And even when we're reflecting on the moment, which is on a moment, well, yes, we could say we moved away from the moment, but even the reflection on the moment, that's, if you want to say it, that's the moment. The reflection is it too.
which is not
As a
separate.
philosophy,
Which
as
is,
a Harvey, as a philosopher, does
Yeah.
any part of this conversation sound to you like the ancient Greek philosophy of Stoicism?
Some of it does, like the Stoa, if we get into Marcus Aurelius and all. But the problem is often, I think, that while it seems very useful to talk about all the different theories, it's easy to so conceptualize it that we've kind of lost what's right. It's sort of like what's right here and now. So in a classroom, I can talk about many different theories, and I'll tell students, you've got to make up your own mind, of course. But at some level, there's almost a simplicity of just acknowledging, this is the way I would say it, what is, and not worry about all the analysis, just what is. Even when we were talking before about indifference, you thought, well, could it come out, if we say it's just happening, could we say that's indifferent? Sure, we could say it could be a lot of things, and it could be a lot of things. But what I think is that the mind, or if we call it the mind, is trying to conceptualize and say, well, it must be indifferent, or it must be that. Whereas we don't know what it's going to be. It could be anything. It's all possibility. And to me, it's just full stop on the isness, just
yes,
and not worry about what's next.
Harvey. So
Yeah.
So here, there's a suggestion that you can never, because you said we can seem to lose something in the analyzing or the conceptualizing, but in a way, it's impossible to lose this. How can you lose this? I mean, more than the idea or the sensation of there is something like loss or not, which is already this. How it's impossible to lose this in the absence of something else holding this already, able to lose it.
Yeah.
How can you lose what is? How can you lose isness when isness, to talk in your words, is already just simply all that is and not even?
Yeah, I would agree.
May I?
Huh?
I would agree.
Harvey.
You agree?
Nice
Harvey,
one, Sander. That's nice. Yeah.
I guess Harvey was about the power of now more, right, Harvey?
No, well, I mean, I'm familiar with that, but I'm not about trying to accomplish it now or do anything to be in it now, because it's already
Possible,
it's
yeah.
already here.
You cannot. No one can get into the now or out to the now when.
Yeah.
How is it possible? It's not possible. There's no way to lose this or to get more of this or to become more of this in the absence of something else. And we can call this isness or
Yeah.
beingness or whatever. This is it already. There's no way to escape this or to lose it,
Yeah.
to make more of this. At the same time, thinking you can lose this is already just this. This is it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Including not liking this or not agreeing with this or thinking there's something else.
That's
What do
kind
you
of why
think? What do you think?
yeah.
What do you think, Logan?
I'm just kind of reflecting on I mean, on one hand, I completely agree that there's no way to be kind of anywhere else. But it does seem in my experience like there are times where I notice I don't know how I would say it. I guess what we're calling the moment or presence just seems more clear versus other moments when attention seems to be caught up in a thought about something. And sure, that we can say, you know, it's just all what's happening. But it kind of seems to me pragmatically, like functionally, there's kind of a distinction between like being more in the now or not. I don't know.
But which other moments you are talking about?
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't make any sense to be talking that way.
Which other moments are there? Which moments are you pointing to?
Maybe the moments when I'm aware of what is happening. There is a lot of
Which are
time
now?
passing by. When I'm totally, everything is happening completely automatic, without noticing anything. It's just boom, 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 boom. And then there are moments when I'm totally enjoying my tea, very, very aware of the smell, the taste of everything. And yeah, maybe this is what's coming up here while listening to this.
And there can be volition behind the noticing. So if I say to you, how does your left foot feel? You're then going to automatically put attention or noticing to that part of your body. And you say, oh, you know, I've got an itchy toe or something. But the noticing or the focusing comes through your own apparent volition, doesn't it? So Logan, when you talk about being in the moment or being present, that implies it requires some kind of focus or noticing, doesn't it? It's a noticing. Oh, this is just now. So there has to be a movement or a focus that facilitates the noticing, right?
But those two are not separate, and it's already innocently labeling a certain situation as now or before. This itself
It
is
doesn't, yeah, but it doesn't
nowhere else.
matter. But
Well,
it doesn't matter.
of course,
You're
nothing,
making
in
a
that sense,
statement
nothing matters.
about it as if it needs to be corrected, but it's just noticing, right? You don't have to analyze it and say, well, it's not separate from me or the totality. You don't have to do that. You just say, I notice. I'm noticing this. That's
Who is
it.
doing that? Who's doing that?
It's
Who's
just as
saying I
simple as
know?
that, isn't it? No, you're doing it now because there's nothing wrong with it, Sander, but you're doing it as a reflection after the
but
event.
of course
Yeah.
that's now. But during the moment, there's no one saying to himself, like we talked about. This is just like an after. This is just
Yeah,
talking
of
about a
course, there's no one.
so-called
There's of course,
past
you're not
event.
having a convers. Yeah, of course, you're not having a conversation with yourself. Like when you're
No,
driving a car, you're not saying I've got to press down harder on the brake now
no.
because I want to slow down. You're not having that conversation, obviously. But you know, you could
But there
afterwards
are,
reflect
Tony,
on.
but
Yeah.
there are the whole time conversations running here. Naturally so. Maybe when I'm starting to learn how to drive a car, this conversation is going to happen. Maybe I have to press the brake a little bit stronger in
Well,
order to
the
stop.
conversation is going on within yourself.
Of course, it's very
But
normal. Everything is directly happening.
I don't know
Just
that. I don't know
happening.
that.
It's like speaking. Thoughts are popping up there the whole time.
I don't know
Of
that
course, or not.
experience myself. I don't know that experience.
Isn't there a
Of having
kind
an
of
internal
It's the same as
conversation. I don't
speaking.
know
It's
it.
the same as speaking. It's thinking.
Harvey,
Noticing, being aware of something, very naturally so. It's the most normal thing.
Mhm.
Isn't
Yeah.
there a kind of equanimity in everything that's being said? In that there's like nothing to what we'd say it looks different kinds of awareness or noticing, but yet there's nothing more special than it's just a kind of an equanimity. It's just neither one is really better or worse. It just is.
exactly.
Oh, yes, yes. But Rosa, sorry, if I could just say something, Rosa. Yes, very occasionally I might I don't know, I might do something and I might even say it out loud. I might say, oh, what a stupid fool I am doing. I might say that, but that's a very, very rare occurrence.
Well,
Very
that's it.
rare,
That's
extremely
it.
rare.
Yeah.
And you know,
But
So what?
what is
well,
funny?
but you brought it up, so I'm just responding. That's all.
Yeah.
So what is funny when people suggest, well, it's happening in here or in where, you know, there seems in what? So you know, it seems to happen in here. In where?
Yeah, there are people
In what?
having the idea that there is an inside and an outside, that this is
Well,
me and my body. That's it.
that, yeah, of course, but this is what I mean. There's just a certain type of story trying to make this, which is, you know, undivided isness, into
Yeah.
something which is logical
Hey,
in terms of in here,
yeah.
out there, then, and
Yes,
not
sweetheart.
now.
Sweetheart, there are bodies functioning as they function. There are people called schizophrenic. They have three persons inside. That's the way they function. What a beauty.
Yes, of course, but the whole idea of inside and outside, the in the there is no actual inside or outside. This is the whole thing. This certain type of self-referential loop may be believed to be real, and
Yeah.
the belief in that is as innocent as anything else.
Yeah. That's why.
And there's
What are we
no
talking about?
escaping, as there's no separated you from the self-referential loop, dividing and creating time and space and objects which are separated from you, as there is already no separated you besides this. Sorry.
Well, you could say that.
Well, I mean, so here, like I said, I can only, you know, for me, it's totally amazed. Well, you know, like I said, from a child on, you know, thoughts, you know, suggesting you have to love yourself, you have to be yourself, you have to take care of your life, when there is no, you know, sense of me, nor no me, or sense of having a life. So this is completely, it was never understood. How can you love yourself more? Who should be able to do such a thing? It's just simply not possible. There is no one having a life more than the idea that there's a you separated from something which is called life, which you have. No one got this. No one separated got this life. It's complete foundationless. The whole idea that there's a you existing in time and space is a completely foundationless story based on nothing, and not even nothing. It has totally no foundation at all. None.
On the other hand, you could say, oh, right, I have these ambitions in life and I'm striving to do this
Of
in my
course.
career or whatever. And that's okay too.
Of course, Tony. So I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. Of course, there can be ambitions. There can be, you know, there can be a need to achieve something, to make something. You know, all those things may seem to play. Yes, beautiful. And there's nothing wrong. That's just how it is.
It's all about surfing.
Most people don't
You
care about
must
this kind of
surf.
thing at all.
Sorry, Gio.
Huh?
Surfing. I said it's all about surfing. You hit the wave, you go down, you go up, you never stay in the same place. You don't get stuck.
It's hard to get stuck. You
smoothly.
don't get stuck. It's just not possible. The
Not
idea that you are
possible, yeah.
stuck, the idea or the sensation
Is
that
getting stuck.
is never stuck.
Yeah, but something says that the thought can make you feel like you were stuck.
Yeah, but that itself can never get stuck. It's stuck in what? In where?
Yeah, no way.
Most people, let's face it, most people aren't interested in this kind of conversation. I mean, what most people are interested in is They want to be happy and they want to avoid suffering. That's what most people are interested in. Not this kind of conversation about separation and not separation.
Well,
Totally,
Where is
Tony.
there a me or not?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
This was the whole time now here running in the background.
of course.
That this is always and about naturally so, about surviving, about having a nice life, me and my life, so natural. And I can totally understand that Xander is in a way, of course, like not and never having the sense of a me. Of course, like talking here in this so-called non-dual area, because it is about no separation, no me. But in a way, the people who are interested in awareness and consciousness and no separation, Buddhism, blah, 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 these are all people who simply want to have a better life. They need help or whatsoever. It's very natural. Yeah.
It's funny, you know, there is a story why in India there are so many saints. And it's because the story is because India was relatively safe between the Himalayas and the ocean, and they were able to keep it up. You know, there were not much fears. They had enough food, so there was a certain basic stability. Survival was in a way, you know, there was no issue of surviving there. That's why, you know, so-called people were able to explore other dimensions of reality, what they call, you know, like reflecting and all those types of things, was basically because there was a certain stability. Survival was not an issue. So in that sense, when Rosa saying, yes, you know, when there is suffering, automatically or innocently there's maybe a need to get rid of it, and there's nothing wrong with it, and this can play in infinite amount of ways. And then maybe,
Yeah, and most people want to do something about it. Something about it. So they'll
yes,
say, well, okay, this is what I have to do.
of course it's natural. Yes, nobody puts his hand on the stove when you get burned, you know. So when there's intense suffering, there probably innocently there's also a wanting to get rid of it, but it's just happening on its own. There's no one behind the, you know, the suffering as a separated you for whom this suffering is, or as a separated you finding a better way.
And Eckhart Tolle with The Power of Now, in a way, hit the nail. Yeah, what a bummer.
Well, it's never
Apparently
going to
everyone.
work. It will never work because it's impossible.
No, it's not about working or not working. It's just like liking the music or not, and it seems to resonate with everyone. It's amazing, of course, until it doesn't. But this is in a way, yeah, innocence at
I
play.
mean, you know, of course, that that's not my view at all. I believe that there is something you can do about it. So that's not my view at all. Just to say, well, this is just what's happening.
I agree, but I agree, you know, there is. So,
But who is going to do that? Who is going to?
You. Don't believe Rosa when she says there's no me. That's not true.
Oh, I'm not. I don't believe anybody. I'm just. Doesn't mean anything. I mean,
I don't know. She should be
here.
eating by now. I don't know why she's talking about no you. She's got no food in front of her. What the hell's going on here?
No food, no you.
So Tony, I agree. You know, we talked about this also. I agree that, you know, there are things which can be done. Yes, and
yeah, just pretend to. It's easy. All you've got to do is pretend to be an individual who can do things. That's all you have to do. And just tell yourself you're an individual. You'll get through the day quite happily. I mean, nothing will go wrong. Just pretend to be you. I mean, it's easy.
Well, you don't even have to pretend.
Exactly.
You
there
don't
is no need to
pretend.
Well,
okay, I'm using the word pretend for some slight comical effect here
I know.
to show how ridiculous it is to pretend that you don't exist and there's no me. That's just a response to that.
Yeah,
Of course,
beautiful.
there is a you, but this you encompasses something much deeper that goes beyond the individual personality, that something that transcends that, which is unbounded.
And this is totally where
consciousness, awareness. Yes. Well, you used the words consciousness and awareness. So
Now we are back
exactly,
into the trap.
This is exactly
no, it's not a trap.
Which,
it's no, it's not a trap. It's the escape route, Giovanni.
Tony, what cannot be consciousness, or what cannot be awareness? What cannot be the totality already?
That's just a statement.
And to say
That's
that it is consciousness is just another statement. Just give it another name.
Well, you know what it is. You know what it is. I don't have to. I couldn't tell you anyway. I wouldn't know what to say. But you know what it is. You know that you're conscious of the computer screen right now, right? The faces on the screen.
If you say that, you know, can the sense, can the belief, can the feeling that doing certain practices and going to a teacher, can that arise? I would say yes, of course, the belief.
Well, yeah, but that's not the point whether it arises or not.
Tony
because
will help me may happen. Yes, of course.
Okay, Sander, I understand that. But okay, it may arise and it may not arise. But the fact that I might say, okay, you've got to do this, well, that also has just arisen. It might not have arisen.
Yeah.
But that's not the point, though, whether something arises or not. The point is that in the moment, this is what's happening. This is what someone is saying. And I mean, to have a discussion about it's something that's just arising, well, that doesn't really mean very much because it is arising or it's not arising.
Tony?
And you deal with that on a moment by moment
Tony,
basis,
here,
don't you?
listening to this, I simply noticed that here, for me, there is no point at all.
Well, that's
and
okay.
There is no, and there is really no meaning at all. And giving everything a meaning is just, in a way, quite empty.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But I see that for you, there is a point, a very big one, always.
Yeah, of course.
So this life is about something. This here is about something.
Yes, of course. Because there is this relative field of existence, of experience. And there are things that are happening and there are things I have to do. You've got to take your kids to school, Rosa, right? There's something you have to do. You have to cook dinner, whatever. Of course there is that. But here, there is also the noticing that what I am is much more fundamental than that, which transcends.
Okay, this is here missing. Okay, this is not happening here. Yeah.
But
okay, all right. Well, I can only speak from my own experience.
Yeah.
So,
that's it. You know, that's all. You know, and we come to the, you know, if that is what, and this is not about doing it, you know, making it less or whatever, Tony. Totally. If that is, you know.
But here's the funny thing, Rosa. You say you're not having that here. But if I didn't say to you that I am aware of something that is much more fundamental, and if I didn't say that, I couldn't legitimately speak about non-separation. So how can you?
Well, am I speaking about non-separation?
Yeah, I mean, you do talk about it.
I would say no, not at all. Right? I mean, as I said, I simply don't know what this is. For me, it's...
If something is not separate, it must be not separate from something else. You have to have two things. You know, to be separate, the table is separate from the floor or whatever. I mean, there's got to be non-separation to mean something. Means that to me, it means to me that this limited personal individual self is not separate from the totality, which is transcendent, which is unbounded, pure awareness. That's why I'm able to use the word non-separation, because I have that knowledge.
You seem to be trying to glue two things, a personal being and some totality called awareness.
Yeah, but in reality, there is only one.
Yes.
Well, I would say
And I can't explain that.
right?
I can't explain that.
Tony,
No, it's no way. There's no way to explain that.
Tony.
Hmm.
So, you know, I would say there's not two, neither one. There is not a one thing called awareness as a thing, you know, or as a no thing.
Well, this is the problem, because this is the problem, you see, because we're using dualistic language here. So I wouldn't call awareness a thing. I wouldn't objectify it, but there is certainly awareness.
Yeah, but making it into a no thing is just another objectification. The one of making it into not a thing. That's just another.
Yes, but I don't need the words. I
No,
don't need. You see, the thing is,
I
I
know.
don't need the words to know what it is.
No.
I can just remain silent and I know what it is. But if you analyze it and say, well, it's not a thing, it's not a no thing, you could do that, but you don't have to. You're not required to know what it is.
Of course not. And it's quite hard to know what it is in the absence of a you and something else which you can know or not know.
It's extremely easy to know what it is. It's the easiest thing possible.
Yes, because it's just this, it's self-referential as it's everything and nothing already. But that itself is just another conclusion innocently arising that there is something which is self-referential and self-evident, which maybe feels good until it doesn't.
You put an apple in front of you. Remove the apple. I am now.
But that's a human personal sensation.
Well, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the apple. You see, again, I'm just saying, look, you see the apple, you take away the apple, you're aware of the absence of the apple, but you're now putting another layer onto it. You're trying to explain it. You see, you're putting another layer. And this is getting away from the immediacy.
It's always direct.
I'm trying to understand what we're talking about.
Sorry?
I'm trying to understand what we're talking about. It goes round and round and
But it's
round.
always direct, Tony. It's always direct. What else?
Well, of course, it's going to go round and round in circles until you stop.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
So stop.
It's just like,
and then you'll know what it is.
Well, the beauty is there's just a going around, you know. I would say there's just a self-reference
is going crazy
around and nothing else. It's hard to stop this.
See a dog running after his tail, running. It's like, what we're talking about exactly?
No, it isn't, because it's impossible to run after yourself.
Tony is trying to explain to I don't know whom here. I don't see anyone who actually need any explanation. But nevertheless,
they'd have to tell me.
Tony is explaining something about the totality and me and something like this. Beautiful, beautiful ideas. Yeah. This is how I see it.
Come on now, Rosa, you're supposed to say it's just blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's total crap, Tony. It's total bullshit.
Hey, wait. This is, I mean, come on. So, you know, trying to explain, the beauty is that trying to explain and to make a point, you know, and to persuade others to see that point is in itself already this. This is it. It's innocent.
Yeah,
as is the not liking it, as is the thinking, fuck you, what a bullshit. You know, it's
if it was a cartoon, I will be like, these things like around the head, like turning, like boo.
You're talking about something in which your mind is getting in the way of now, because all of this talking and thinking and conceptualizing is the mind actually getting in the way of something that you're completely missing.
The mind never
gets in the way.
Well, wait,
the mind never
wait.
gets in the way, and you are never missing anything.
That's already the mind, Tony.
That seems to be the experience, Rosa, for many people.
I can,
the
you know, it's
mind
very,
gets in the way.
it's very easy here with you, sweetheart. That's why I love it. No matter what you say, I would say the opposite.
But Tony,
Well, I would expect, I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
I know,
Tony.
that's the game, you see.
Tony, you said this is the mind, you know, blah, 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 explaining, you know, and getting in the way of something, you know, that itself is just more mind. It's just, you know, it's just not, it's, what is it else? Saying that the mind is trying to explain something and comes into something which is like against it. That itself is already the mind. It's already this. It can.
Well, then you've just come to the correct conclusion. Then the mind must stop.
Why?
And then you'll know.
Why?
Because
why?
you'll have the answer.
Well, I mean, what?
For what? The answer for what? For the truth, Tony?
I can't tell you, Rosa.
The mind
okay, for the unknowable. The answer for the unknowable, for the mystery.
Is that just a concept for you? The unknowable?
Totally. Absolutely.
Oh God, what a disappointment.
Yeah, I know, sweetheart. I know that you, I know that you, I know also other teachers who really like their heart is beating for the consciousness, for the totality, for the mystery, for the nothingness. What a beauty, what a beauty.
But
Beautiful.
wait.
That's what non-duality is about, isn't it?
What
honest.
non-duality is about.
Well, there isn't, the funny thing, there isn't a thing called non-duality or a thing called duality. And, you know, the idea or the belief that it's about something or about nothing is already just another innocent belief that it is or that it can be about something else than this already. The whole negating and saying it is about something or nothing is already.
Well, it isn't about, yeah, well, this is the mistake people make, of course. They think that non-duality is some kind of philosophy or some kind of way to live your life or whatever. No, non-duality is not that. Non-duality is the direct experience of non-dual awareness. That's what non-duality is.
But who cares? Who cares what is that? What is
I'm not saying you have to care, but I'm saying
there is no awareness
that's all. Whether you
being
accept it
aware
or
of
not is
non-duality.
out of my control.
Exactly.
It's out of my control.
But
more definitions, more, you know, labels, more trying to explain it. It just go round and round.
Knowledge. It's pure knowledge, Tony. What you are, it's knowledge. It's something you can, people who are attracted to this can apply to daily life. It's simply a simple teaching. Yeah, ordinary teaching.
I want to pick on Tony now. Tony, there is no such thing as awareness, being aware.
I will
of
accept
anything.
I will accept all challenges.
There is no such thing as awareness, being aware of something. Any
What are you aware?
appearance is
What are you aware of right now, Giovanni? What are you aware of? What are you aware of?
any appearance is appearing
Are you
totally
alive? Are you even alive, Giovanni?
You are not
aware
listening.
of something.
Sorry, you are not listening.
You said there's no such thing as awareness.
Yes.
So I'm asking you,
no
what are you aware of right now?
Let me speak. There is no such thing as, there is no need for something to be aware, for some appearance to appear. An appearance appears, there is no need for awareness to be aware of that appearance. It is already complete. When we say that there is an appearance, being aware of appearances, there is an awareness, being aware of appearances, is an add-on. It's a story.
Now that's the very mind going around in circles that Hader was talking about, because that's what you're doing now. You're doing this. I'm just simply saying, what are you aware of? Are you aware of the room? You're aware of the TV?
It makes no sense because there is no you are aware.
Yeah,
there is no you.
Why do you feel the need to explain it?
Why not?
Well, yes, but are you aware of the computer screen? Are you aware? It's a simple question, right?
No sense. Who is aware?
It's a very simple question.
There is no you being aware and there is no
No,
awareness
that's
being
you
aware.
thinking about it. That's you thinking
You
about
don't
it.
listen, Tony. That's the problem. You are not listening.
No,
I'm trying to say
listening. I
something.
understand what you're saying.
Okay, then listen for 1 minute, please. Can
Okay.
you?
Yeah.
There is this certain need for the Cartesian mind, that there is a need of something being aware of appearances, right? And I'm saying no, there is no need for an awareness being aware of anything. Anything appearing is it. Why the need for an awareness to be aware of it? It is already it. There is no need for an awareness to be aware of it. It is already it.
I didn't say there was a need. I never said there was a need. Yeah.
Right? Okay, finished.
And yeah, I never said there was a need. I just asked you a simple question. You know, are you aware of the computer screen? It's a simple question.
There is awareness of a computer screen, you're asking. I say no.
The tax man knocking on your door, coming to ask you for money. You know, are you aware of the the vegetables in the supermarket?
Can I answer? Will you listen? The computer screen is on. Period. Why the need for something or someone to be aware? It is an unnecessary need for the limited Cartesian mind. Everything is appearing suddenly or not suddenly without any need for something else to be aware. It is already.
You don't need a Cartesian mind to see an apple, do you? I mean,
Geo, but exactly this play which Tony is doing, the awareness of being aware. This is also very simple and directly happening.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no difference.
We are playing the game. I know. It's fun. It's really fun.
I mean, you're naturally aware, aren't you? You're always aware. I mean, you don't have to try.
No, there is no you being aware, Tony.
No.
Of course, you are naturally aware.
No.
Yes. So yeah, but Giovanni, if you agree with me that you are naturally aware without having to do anything, if you're naturally aware of the computer screen, if you're naturally aware of it, then surely my question, asking you what you are aware of, should elicit a very simple response. If that awareness is already there,
okay, I will
why is
answer.
it so difficult? Why so difficult is it to answer that question without going into Cartesian blah blah blahs?
Okay, I will use simple
does not
words.
like, Tony. That's what I hear. The answer which Geo is giving you, just to interfere here a little bit, seemed not to be loved, there by you. So he.
Sorry, Sander, say that again.
Well, Giovanni is explaining, how it's seen there, so to say, and there doesn't seem to be a liking or an agreeing on there. That's what's happening.
Well, it's an investigation, isn't it? Because Giovanni said there is no such thing as awareness, but then he went on to say awareness is not a thing, or it's just naturally here. Giovanni is acknowledging the word, while at the same time saying there's no such thing as awareness.
But the funny thing is,
now let me answer. I will answer. There is a body mind being aware of the screen, but this is not the awareness that you are talking about. You are talking about a transcendental, super awareness that is aware of everything. There is no need for that. There is no need. There is a body mind being aware of the hands. There is a body mind being aware of the screen. This is what's happening, right? But there is no need for an awareness.
Okay, good. That's good. We can agree on that. There is a body mind that is aware
exactly
of some object or whatever. So it then follows that if you remove the object, what happens to awareness?
Nothing. It will be aware of something else. It is the function of the body-mind.
Can
It
it
is
be
aware
aware
of
of
the
nothing?
screen.
Can it be
It
aware
is
of
aware
nothing?
of. Can be aware of nothing. No, that is impossible.
So you're thinking non-stop 24 hours a day.
If it is
There's no
happening,
gaps. There's no gaps in between your thoughts.
no, there may be. Why not? I don't know.
Okay, what's in the gap?
Oh, you're trying
What's
to
in the gap
point to.
between
What is
two
Emerson?
thoughts?
This is Emerson. What is in between me and the know me? What is
No. That's a stupid question that Emerson asks. That's a stupid
Why?
question. I'm just saying, what is the gap between two thoughts?
Why would the gap be more important than the thought itself? Is the thought something
I
so
didn't say that. No, I
non-special?
never said that. I never said it's more important. I never said it's more important. I just said, do you acknowledge that there's a gap between two thoughts? There's a gap, right?
well,
Yes, there is a gap
the way
between
that
two thoughts. Okay, and there is nothing special about that gap because the
No, I
gap
didn't
is
say there was
the.
anything special about it. No, but there
Yeah,
is a
there is a
gap,
gap.
and that gap
Yeah.
has no thought, no object. So it's awareness without an object, right?
It's yeah, let me
I don't
please say
understand that.
something. Yeah, Gio,
Mhm.
I get you that you're not understanding this. Gio, maybe you can adjust the volume. I hear it very loud now.
It's my dog.
It's distorting a little bit, I think, but I can
no,
hear
the
you
volume.
okay.
No, not your dog, sweetheart. Your dog is lovely. Just the volume, because you adjusted it already, right? Make it louder. And but I just wanted to say while listening
Sander,
to this, while listening to this, I simply see I'm not that into all those teachings in Buddhism and Hinduism, but I know that, for
no,
example,
I'm not talking about teachings,
Jiddu, yeah,
Rosa.
no, it is.
Don't
Jiddu
use the
Krishna,
word
for
teaching.
example,
It's an observation about yourself. That's all it is.
It's about consciousness. The word consciousness and awareness and mindfulness and blah 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 blah. So, and exactly these words seem to be very powerful in special teachings, religions, belief systems. There is a lineage, and this is, it's very special. So this word consciousness is a very, very famous one. It's something special, and exactly. And for me, yeah,
There's nothing special about it. Everyone's conscious. What's special? What's special about that?
So, you know, I would say there seems to be something which is labeled as awareness or unawareness, but there's no one separated as a you being aware or as a you not being aware. That's all. There's nothing more to it.
Well, if someone says I am aware, then they're saying that as if they are separate, right?
Because that's language, but it's the same with the I am thought, you know, there is no you to be or to be not. In a way, there's just beingness, but there's no you to become more this or to become less this, which this is already. You cannot become more, you cannot become more aware, you lose your awareness, as there's already no you as something which is awareness, able to lose it or to become it or to superimpose it, whatever to do with it, what seems to be done or not.
Well, that's just the mind blabbering
so we can
on,
also
really.
take the word happy.
I mean, you can call it whatever. We can also say that's just awareness. It's all awareness, you know. But there's no one.
What about you, Logan? Logan, are you
not.
aware? What are you aware of?
Rosa?
Logan.
Who are you asking?
Logan.
Logan.
We put Logan in the spot again.
No, I'm not putting him in this spot. I'm just interested in what people say. I'm not.
Yeah, of course, I know. Go ahead, Logan. You know, you guys.
It's only Giovanni I want to put in this spot.
Give it a shot, Logan. Come on. What are you aware of?
I mean, I kind of see Giovanni's perspective and your perspective.
What a safe answer. Yeah. Come on, Logan.
Oh, that's very diplomatic, isn't it?
What's your perspective, Logan?
You know, exactly.
So I would say, I mean, I would also say that there's no awareness as something that is separate and aware of any object or what's happening or whatever. But I can colloquially say I can see the computer screen, and there's nothing wrong with saying that.
Of course not. In a way, you're telling a
Of course not.
story because that's all you can do.
Right.
It's
Sure.
like innocent explanation. This is just a practical thing. Nothing more, nothing less. Of course, what else are you going to say? There is some do this. Well, there seems to be a character, but it's not me. And that character is maybe seeing a screen or not. You know, it's just for the sake of communicating, but there is no separated someone doing the seeing. There's just the seeing, or you can call it seeing or being aware of or whatever, or being conscious of, but there's no one separated as a you being aware or being not aware. It's just simply the functioning of the body-mind system, or whatever you want to call it. Tony, how you think about that? Body-mind system, innocently functioning. It's just what seems to be a function, you know, just for the sake of practicality, to know, you know, that there are options. It's both and neither, you know, so you don't walk under a car. But all that is already not separated from something else. And there's a no you able to become more aware or to lose awareness as a you.
Sander, that's true. As an absolute statement, what you're saying is true. I don't have any issue with that as an absolute statement. But that absolute
You know what's
statement,
funny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
You
ahead,
know what's
Tony.
funny? That it's the same for me saying that everything is separate. It's not changing anything.
No, it's still just
What
this.
is it not,
It doesn't matter.
Rosa? What is it not changing?
It's just blah blah.
Yeah, but what is it not changing? What?
It's not changing anything. And no matter if you say there is no separation or there is separation.
Come on, Giovanni, I'm not
something.
finished with you yet.
I
Let's
just
go
wanted
ahead.
to ask Tony Guri, but he just disappeared. Yeah, okay.
I want to address Logan. I want to address Logan when he said that he can see both perspectives. I think that's the way the thing goes, to understand that there is no separate awareness. There is no awareness beyond somewhere. It starts like that. You see that there is an awareness, and the next moment you see there is no awareness. And when you go deeper into it, you suddenly realize that there is absolutely no need for something beyond to be aware of things. Things are
Well, Giovanni, you agreed with me about 1 hour ago. You agreed with me. About one hour. Well, when I said that you can make a distinction between this and that, isn't the same thing. There's no separation. So you can make a distinction, or you can
because
discriminate.
You see, Tony, you are mixing the word awareness, and you're using the word awareness in two different modes. One mode is to say that the human being is aware of the screen, the human being is aware of a pain in his hands, the human being is aware of some sounds, some dogs. That's one kind of awareness. The other one is to say that there is an absolute awareness beyond being aware of what is happening.
It's the same awareness. There's not an absolute awareness beyond that. It's the same awareness.
But the first kind of awareness that Giovanni's talking about is just a story, I think, is kind of maybe the distinction he's trying to make. Like when he uses awareness in the first way, it's just a story.
You mean like the body-mind being aware of the screen?
Right, yeah.
I think Giovanni's got the idea that I'm talking about some super awareness, but I'm not. I'm just the same awareness that's aware of your computer screen is the same awareness I'm talking about, which you can make a discrimination between awareness and the perception of the screen. You can make it's the same awareness. I'm not talking about some super special awareness. It's the same awareness. But when the screen isn't there, then what remains? It's just the awareness, right? Well, in the same way that the movie screen can exist independently of the movie.
The
But the
moment
movie
you
and the
are-
screen are mixed up. Yeah.
The moment that you are in deep sleep or under anesthesia, there is no such thing as awareness. Where is awareness? You went to sleep under anesthesia, suddenly you open your eyes and people say, oh yes, you have been sleeping for 2 months. Oh, really? Where was awareness?
Yes, well, in deep sleep, you could say there's no time, because there's no experience of, objects, content. So there's no time really.
Well, there's no
But
experience
you don't,
of anything
but
indeed.
you don't cease to be. You don't cease to exist in deep sleep, do you?
Well, there's
You
already
wake up
no
and you
new
say, "Oh, I
existence,
slept
Tony.
well," right?
The funny thing is, there's no difference between deep sleep and wakefulness. There's already no you sleeping nor you awake.
Yeah, you could also say that. That's also true. That's also true. Yes, what you said is also true. There's no difference. But yet there is a difference.
Yes, but there's a difference. Beautiful.
Which is why it's all blah, blah, blah. But
no, I am right.
But
Giovanni, I'm not going to let
My
you
blah
do
blah
this.
is
I'm
better.
sorry,
but let's
Sweethearts,
say
you can fight until the bloody end. I guess I will have to go earlier to bed tonight.
Oh,
and I wish you a lot of fun. And I just
time
want
flies,
to say,
you know.
Bye bye, bye bye,
yeah,
Rosa.
bye bye. Love you all.
Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.
Yeah, I think this is the cue, right, you guys? I mean, so I cannot say anything else that there was enjoyment. Beautiful. I would like to thank you all, for expressing whatever is coming up. To be honest, I don't see any wrongness with whatever seems to be said or believed or expressed today. And
I would like to say that, Sander, although you said that there is no point, I love the point that you are making. It's beautiful.
Well, that's it then. You made your
See,
point.
Giovanni, there's always two things together.
Yeah. I have
two
to
things
admit,
together, but they're really one. But they appear to be two or many. Let's see, it's a paradox, contradiction, which is only brought out when you use language.
Yes.
But if you're just not saying anything, if you're just silent, well, that's just it. There's nothing to say.
It's a good way to end the meeting. Thank you everybody. Tony, Patricia, Gio, Logan, Anand. Let me see the others. I forgot who it was, but thank you anyway. Thank you very much for joining, and have a beautiful night, morning, day, whatever, midday. Take care.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you for all.
Cheers, Sander.
You.